being strong in the gym helps you be strong in your life. I truly mean that. I believe that that mindset has really helped me. And that's what I say to all the women.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SOTA Personal Training Podcast. We help busy adults get in shape. Is that what we do? Kind of, right?
I think that's our goal, yeah.
I'm Coach Sean, here with Coach Kira, Coach Mady. How you guys doing?
Great.
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just we got some coffees today, courtesy of Coach Mady. I actually learned something, what I didn't know. So what was that you were saying about the it's the drip versus how does it work? Because so I got an Americano, right, which I called like a plain black coffee, but apparently it's not. It's like a drip. How does it work?
So an Americano is espresso shots mixed in with hot water, whereas drip brew or just plain black coffee is the ground up coffee and hot water drips through it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's a little less caffeinated. Americanos
is more caffeinated.
Americanos are more go-go juice than just plain black coffie. More caffeine.
Good. That's good because I actually usually when I do a podcast with other people, I usually like to be like a little bit intentionally over caffeinated, just like a little mild overdose,
You don't say
a tiny
just
bit.
A little bit because then you get really excited, and pumped up. This is my third of the day, right? I had one before I came, one of those kind of crappy ones out there, and now this. So this is good. Probably sitting
Nespresso. Sorry, he just called you crappy.
Yeah. Wait, that thing. This is not crappy.
No, Nespresso might sponsor us one day. You should probably not say it's crappy.
Oops, don't cut that, Phil.
Nespresso, I love you.
Yeah. You got the decaf, right? I thought you were you got your caffeinated questions today. What happened?
Yeah, no, a little bit of broken coffee. I do. So I am very caffeinated all the time. Mm-hmm. And I used to say there's a time and a place for decaf, and that's never in the trash. Yeah. But my caffeine cutoff time is 10:30.
Oh,
yeah.
I love an afternoon coffee, but now I've had to start to drink the broken afternoon coffee.
You got a cutoff time. See, I'm different for whatever reason. I'm one of those people who I don't respond. I don't know if it's that my body just metabolizes it fast or whatever. I don't drink a ton of it, but I can usually do it up till 3 or 4 p.m. and it doesn't bother my sleep.
Wow.
But we'll see today. I don't know.
I was going to say,
report back tomorrow.
I think the next podcast episode should be about caffeine consumption. And then I think it might double as an intervention.
We could get for Kira.
For you. Kira's being responsible. She's got the decaf coffee.
Nah. But I do drink 600 milligrams. Mm-hmm. It's just from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Well, okay. Actually, let's jump in with that. Okay. Because, what we're going to mainly talk about today is how to get strong, right? You guys are both going to give... me, maybe the listeners, I don't know if anybody's going to listen, but me for sure, some tips on how to keep getting stronger, right? And because that's actually interesting, something to talk about, right? Is caffeine before the workout, Assuming when you guys work out, you drink caffeine before the workout. I don't know if this is how we should open the discussion, but, do you guys caffeinate before your workouts?
I go hard on the pre-workout, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If my skin isn't tingling, then I'm just not, I'm not here for it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that caffeine before a workout is necessary. And I have been trying to cut back a little bit on it because I'm very reliant on it. And I think then that makes my workouts when I don't have caffeine.
Some feel worse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. What about you?
I mean, I've gone through so many phases where I have pre-workout. I'm just actually coming back into my pre-workout phase. Because I went for almost a year with no pre-workout because all of a sudden, one day I was just kind of reflecting on my caffeine intake as I was drinking my morning coffee with my pre-workout in my bag ready to go. And I'm this is kind of creeping up on 800 milligrams a day.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This is probably not the best. So I should kind of cut back. And I started drinking decaf coffee and teas and things like that. And then having my pre-workout so I could justify it. And I'm it's not that much now. But then I started getting used to the pre-workout. So I need to take a little tolerance break from the beta alanine because I do love the tinglies when I'm working out.
The tinglies. Okay.
So good.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It just makes you want to
lift really fucking
You get a
heavy
little
weight.
feral, you know?
Yeah.
That's fair. So I've actually never used pre-workouts. Like I really don't know about the tinglies. Like I'll have enough caffeine. Like, okay, so do you guys know what Chike is? It's like CHIKE. It's like a protein coffee, basically, you know, and if I like double shot that, it's like 300 milligrams of caffeine, plus I'll put some extra coffee. So it's not like the tinglies, but it's like, I'm like too hopped up. Like
But you do know that the tinglies don't come from the caffeine itself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the pre-workout. It's from the beta-alanine.
Okay.
So the beta-alanine it's a amino acid that, or like a branch of it, whatever. And that's what causes like the pins and needles tingly things. I did my whole like senior research project on the correlation between beta-alanine taking and strength gains.
Okay.
So, but no, it's not the caffeine. It's the beta-alanine.
What'd you find in terms of, I mean, how much more strength gains do you get?
It's not like ridiculous. It's not like you hopped on a cycle and all of a sudden got super strong, but there is like over time small changes or like faster changes in strength than not supplementing with it. So I think the specific study that I referenced the most, it was 800 milligrams a day in pill form. And it was like a 4 or 5% increase compared to the control group.
Significant though. Like if you're already fairly advanced.
But it was with like athletes.
And who are already pretty advanced though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not newbie gains.
Yes.
Right? Like,
but also don't go out and buy beta-alanine and start taking it.
Okay. Fair.
You want to start slow and steady if you're going to start it, because it can be an overwhelming feeling. Like the first time that I felt it, you really feel the sensation of like the ants under your skin, like as crazy as that sounds, but like it's just like tingly and you feel super itchy. And for someone not expecting that, it can be like kind of scary.
Oh, for sure. The first time I took pre-workout with beta-alanine, I thought I was having an insane allergic reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like in tears. I was like, what have I done to myself?
Yeah.
It's the weirdest sensation.
And then you get used to it.
And then you love it.
Okay. But does it cause an addiction too? Like,
I wouldn't say it does. I mean, like, I would say like the feeling when you're lifting, it's totally different. Like you feel more amped up. You feel more like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But I don't think I need pre-workout to work out. Like I can do it without it. And sometimes when I know it's not going to be like a super intense lift, or I'm going to be like, it's a little bit lighter, I don't always take it then, just because I feel like I don't need to.
Yeah.
And because the one I have is 200 milligrams of caffeine on top of it. So it's like, pick and choose battles with that one.
Okay. So it's kind of like for the really intense days
And that's what I did when I was, sorry.
No, you're totally good.
When I went through my like no pre-workout phase, I bought just straight up beta-alanine, and I would use like the Mio, like the water enhancer flavor that Blake is obsessed with. I would
shout out Coach Blake.
I would put a scoop of beta-alanine in it and just water, and then add a little bit of that, and that was my pre-workout for the longest time. So I still had that like tingly pins and needles feeling without excessive caffeination.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
I do love a good non-stim pre-workout.
So wait, what is a non-stim one? So a non-stim just doesn't have beta-alanine? I don't really know that much.
It doesn't have caffeine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Usually they do have, some of them have beta-alanine and like other stimulants. I don't know all the names of all the crazy ingredients that I
There's
don't
like
really want to talk about.
There's like lion's mane and some like badass shit, like it sounds cool anyway.
L-citrulline and like things like that.
Okay.
Carnitine. All of the enes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But like what happens if you take the non-stim one? Like you feel good, but it's not the caffeine, or like why do you like it?
Yeah. So like this morning I took my non-stim before the SOTA class because I didn't want caffeine. I wanted full coffee afterwards. But I still like, it just gives me the like pumped up, tingly feeling. Like I was feeling tired, and without, I don't know, I think that the non-stim makes me feel more awake even without caffeine, whatever it is in there.
Okay.
And I think it could be a little bit of placebo in it, because you're still like scooping the pre-workout, putting it in your blender bottle and drinking it before the workout. So that, That's what I feel when I take my non-stim, because it's like I know that there's no caffeine in it, but I still get like the same feeling from it. Placebo effect is real.
Yeah.
So real.
I believe that. Okay. Huh. Interesting. I mean, because I'm thinking about it. Like, do you guys think? Okay, just total personal question. Since I don't use pre-workout and basically never have, like, do you think it's worth it for me? Is it worth it for me if I don't know, want to see more strength gains? Or
I would say, like,
come on, why?
I would say if you can get through a workout and it's just like an enhancer. Like it's not needed whatsoever. And I personally, like, one of the reasons why I stopped taking pre-workout was how expensive it is. Like it's crazy expensive for 20, 30 servings. And it's like, that's 20 or 30 workouts. And it's just, you don't need to start, I guess. Cause then sometimes people do get like weird about it where they need pre-workout to feel like they need to go to the gym. Like it's that weird balance with it.
That way, just with caffeine in general. Like I wouldn't want to go into the gym without having caffeine. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? You know, like because I go pretty early anyway. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a whole nother rabbit hole, but like, yeah, I'm a little bit addicted to caffeine. That's what we need to know anyway, but. Okay.
Yeah. Long story short, if folks don't take pre-workout, I would never recommend that they start taking it. If you want, I just like, it's not really much of an enhancement. No. Okay. As a society, we probably most people don't need more caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fun because I started taking it a long time ago. I would never tell a client you should start taking a pre-workout. Yeah.
And that's what I was like, I feel like it is like the younger, newer generation of lifters, like because like these weren't a thing 10, 15 years ago. Like, yeah, there might have been like the smaller ones, but it wasn't like common knowledge. And now I feel like with this new wave, it's like, how many different things can I put in my body before I go work out type of thing. So that, and especially with like the clients we work with, I would not recommend it.
Okay.
Because coffee can do the trick. A cup of coffee can give you that little caffeine boost that you need, but you don't need the super tinglies. Yeah.
That's fair.
The tinglies.
Starbucks cheers to telling people to not have that much more caffeine while they work out. I guess
all of our black coffee.
But, well, okay. So what about this? Like, how did both of you get into it? You know, like, it's kind of funny because I feel like, you know, even though we worked together for a while now, like, you know how you like work with people, but you don't actually really know that much about them. Like, I don't know why you guys got into fitness or like whatever. Like, how did you guys, whoever wants to start, like, how did you guys start working out? How did you get into fitness? Yeah.
Yeah, I can go.
You go first.
Yeah. Growing up, I was active enough. Like I was in tennis and dance, and I was on the Olympic style weightlifting team when I was in high school, which wasn't actually what started getting me into strength training. I did it because my friends were in it. And then like the second the season was over, I could not have cared less about lifting. But then when I went to college, I kind of took on a very sedentary classic college kid lifestyle. For the first like year and a half I was in college. And then I just was kind of sick of it. I was very serious about school and I was very stressed about that. And I was like, I need something for my mental health. This is just not working for me. And so I started going to the gym and I just wanted to run a lot because in 2011, that's what people did.
Yep.
Yep. So real.
Right? Like women weren't strength training in 2011. And so I started running a ton and I had goals around like how fast I would want to run races. And that was amazing. I loved having that. It was a great stress relief for me. But then I was reading Runner's World magazine one day, like the actual magazine, which also doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
Magazines don't exist anymore, but yeah.
But they had talked about how runners should be doing strength training as cross training and talked about this class called Body Pump as one of the best cross training exercises that runners can do. And I was like, well, I want to keep getting faster. That's great. I'm going to do that. And so Body Pump, if you don't know, is a 60-minute strength training class, but it's all about high reps, so lower weight. So it's more endurance strength.
Yeah.
So I went to the Y at the in the town that I was going to school at, and fell in love with that body pump and how I could see myself getting stronger, which made me a better runner. And then decided that I wanted to start coaching that. So then I was coaching that, but still, so it was still like this group fitness mentality for a very long time. And like clocking the calorie burns and all of that. Which was fine. It was keeping me active, but it wasn't until really, I would say like the pandemic that I got serious about just wanting to get strong. I was feeling my body getting worn down more than stronger. And so then the pandemic felt like there's no better time than now when I'm just in my tiny studio apartment by myself all day, every day. I might as well start doing more pull-ups and,
why not?
Like paying $100 for a 5-pound weight on Facebook Marketplace. Woo! And, but from all of that, so that was really, when I started to shift my mindset away from like high intensity strength training into more strict strength training, like the strength training that I do now.
Yeah. How many, because you can do like a lot of pull-ups now. I've seen you do them. I remember I walked in one day, you were doing pull-ups. I'm like, shit.
I gave you a lesson on how to get more.
Yeah. Tell me right now. Okay, so first off, how could you do pull-ups back, when you started doing this routine, like, when COVID was starting and you said that you got into doing more just pull-ups at home, whatever, like, could you do pull-ups already or?
Yeah, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
One thing that I challenge women especially on is I think you're stronger than you think you are. Yep. And so like the first time I did a pull-up, I thought there's no way in hell I am getting this pull-up. And it turns out I got that pull-up. And then that once you get that first pull-up, you just realize how strong you actually are. And so maybe you can't rep out 10 in a row, but you do one and then you do some banded and then you do some shoulder shrugs. And then, you're doing 2 and banded and shoulder shrugs, and then you're working your way up. But I think so many women are just, and I say women specifically because that's who I hear it from most, but
much more.
They just have that self-limiting mindset of like, oh, there's no way I can do a pull-up. Yeah. Well, have you tried?
Yeah.
Maybe you could. I think you could.
I totally agree with that. I'm sure you see this too. Like it's more common among men than women. Sometimes it's men too, but usually it's women. Like if you're training a female client and they're like, even just on a regular lift, we could be doing like a bench press and they'll be doing like the 15-pound dumbbells. Like, no, let's go to like 20 or 25. And they're like, wait, I don't know. But they can easily do it. They don't realize they can do it. But, okay, so you said shoulder shrugs to, okay, give me tips on how to do more pull-ups basically. But you said shoulder shrugs to get better at pull-ups.
Hanging shoulder shrugs.
Like scap pull-ups?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got you. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who want to get more pull-ups.
Blake.
Oh, yeah. Blake and I still haven't had our competition because he's very scared because he knows that I will kick his ass.
Call it out on the internet. Let's go, Kira.
Everyone knows that. No one's rooting for Blake. No one thinks he will win.
I'll root for you, Blake. Money's on Kira.
But if you want to get more pull-ups, how I started to get more pull-ups. The hardest part of your pull-up is when you have full extension at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And so by doing scap pull-ups, just like think about engaging, like pulling your shoulder blades down, hanging. So you have the weight, your own weight, and you're just, that small movement is really going to get that bottom range so that you don't, like that's the bottom range is also the first part of your pull-up. So if you don't have that strength, then it's going to be hard to get your first pull-up.
Okay. Yeah. Is that like the main tip? Or like what else do you think? What other tips do you have for people who want to be able to do pull-ups or do more pull-ups? Is that kind of the...
Yes. The scap retractions. And then before doing banded, I would actually say doing slow eccentric.
Yes.
So hop up, no band, but then just slow. So then you're still you have the tension of your body.
Yes.
Just hop up to the top and then get your body used to being able to control yourself on the way down.
Yes. Yeah. Like that's an important principle for every exercise, that there's always a way that you can gradually progress to what you want to do, Okay. Yeah. Pretty cool. Okay, and so like you kind of almost had that, I'm not going to say like an epiphany, it sounds stupid, but like a moment where you realize like, oh, I don't need to do all of this super high intensity interval type training or like the body pump type training. Like what you wanted was more, I'll call it traditional strength training, you know, where it's like longer rest periods in between the sets, stuff like that. Like, I don't know, talk a little bit more about that, about how that either changed your body, or you can jump into when you want, Mady. We're just going all Kira for now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I want to hear Maddie's story of how because I'm sure she probably...
We skipped over Maddie's story.
Well, no, she might have had a similar transition. I know we talked about playing sports. So perhaps then we can move into like how you have various different levels of strength training or formats of strength training. So how that has maybe progressed too.
Yeah. Okay. So how I got into lifting is that I grew up an athlete. I was always active, but it was always sports oriented. So I was either at soccer practice, softball, basketball, like only doing like the sport itself. And then I think it was like when I was in 7th grade, they introduced this lifting aspect to it. And for us, like that was a totally brand new thing. We were like, why do we need to be in the weight room lifting weights when we play these sports? Whatever. So I started doing like little like athletic type lifting, but I never took it seriously. Like we would always just go in there for lift and just mess around with each other in the weight room. But then once I stopped playing sports, I felt like stuck because all of a sudden I didn't have like my movement outlet. And I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, I don't have my sports anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to go for a run. What do I do? Yeah. So I went into the weight room and I knew the basics. And so I just, started using the machines. I knew my way around a barbell and the dumbbells. And so I just slowly started lifting. And it did start out very like HIIT style workouts where lighter weight, more reps, often for like time rather than reps. And then I just slowly like learned more from different influencers, because that's how I got my workouts when I started. Was I would just go on Instagram, look up whatever influencer, and they look good, so I'm just going to use their workout.
I have so many screenshots of influencer workouts from the beginning of my journey. Yes.
I didn't know people did that much. Okay.
So
nice.
that's how I kind of started. And this was my thing that I'll show you. Is that so I started logging all of my workouts in my notes app from the moment that I actually started. So I have every single workout that I've ever done from all the way back until 2018. Okay. So you can see like this lady, Kim French. Yeah. Subtle shout out, I guess.
Kim French, hope you're doing well.
She got me on my fitness journey. But yeah, so I started just logging everything in here, and I started looking back at it yesterday actually, and it was just funny to see the progression, because after a while of stealing workouts from people, like you kind of get a sense of how you structure them. And like looking at one of the first ones I programmed, the very first set was lunges and good mornings. And then in the very last set, that's where deadlift was. So like looking back at that, I'm like, it's kind of funny because it's like, I would never program lunges in the very first set of something. Mm-hmm. So kind of like going through all my workouts and seeing the progression. But yeah, I just like slowly kind of learned that, okay, the main compound movements go first. And then you have your single side isometric, what is the word? Unilateral. There we go. Exercises with all of the accessory and stuff like that. And I feel like I've gone through so many different phases in my fitness journey. Mm-hmm. They all have been oriented towards lifting though. I have to say I've never stepped into like the running cardio game. Mm-hmm. I so
Your
want
knees,
to.
Thank you for that.
But I actually, my knees are pretty bad, but I haven't found the runner's high. Everyone talks about it. I haven't found it.
It's there. Keep going.
Maybe I'll find it. Not yet. But yeah, I was just kind of like a self-taught lifter. And then I got into coaching. I don't have like a moment that I decided that I wanted to be a coach. Like it just kind of happened because I started training athletes in 2019 and I was like, I kind of like this. Like I like, guiding people, motivating people, pushing them to be the strongest version of themselves.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of started progressing with my coaching and getting into it. And then, I'm here. Like I never set out to be a personal trainer or to be a coach, but it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And that's how, that's how I got here.
Yeah. Yeah. When you were on like the journey where you're starting to get really strong, you learn the stuff from the influencer workouts, you realize, okay, I need to like learn how to reprogram stuff. Like what else did you do that helped you get a lot stronger? Cause I know like you're really freaking strong. Like you guys both are just really strong. So like I don't know. Yeah. Tell me.
It honestly, it's so cliche, but just doing the same standard movements, the compound movements, like starting your workout with the same compound movement every single time and slowly adding more weight, adding more reps, the progressive overload. And I feel like everybody outside, like hearing that, like clients hate it when I tell them that, like, how do I get stronger? I'm like, you have to do the same workout. Well, it gets boring. You have to do the same workout. Like
it stops getting boring once you keep getting stronger.
Right.
Like you see yourself getting stronger. You're like, yeah, I want to squat every single day for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And it's not like you have to do the same exact workout, but you have to keep it like somewhat similar, at least the compound movements. Like you have to be doing the main compound movements at least once a week in order to see the strength progression and all of that. And so I don't know who I was talking to here, but they're like, I feel so bored doing the same thing. And I'm like, how many plates have you added onto that barbell from the first time you started doing it? Oh, actually like kind of a lot. I couldn't do this weight at this many reps a month ago. Now you can. Like that's the name of the game.
Phil, you better clip that last 2 minutes and put it on an Instagram reel because everybody needs to hear that. Like everybody needs to hear it. Everybody wants variety. Diving back in after technical difficulties. Okay, so it was muscle confusion. Yeah. Okay, so like talk about that.
Okay, so we were talking about variety and how people gravitate to having more variety in their workouts versus doing the same things over time. And there's this misconception, misinformation, fake news being spread around. I started seeing it years ago and I fell victim to it, but it's this concept of you need to confuse your muscles. And so you can't do the same workout. You always have to be doing different exercises. One, that's just not true at all. Just so not true. And two, fuck, what was I going to say? So sorry.
It's okay.
No. Okay, wait, save.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, but muscle confusion, continuing to do the compound lifts, practicing more. And there's something you were saying like off air, about like squatting. Oh, okay. I think I remember what you said. You got it now? You remember?
Confusing your muscles?
Well, going from sitting to doing a squat?
So, like if you're sitting for 8 hours a day and then you go to the gym and you start doing squats, like there's your muscle confusion.
That's amazing for your body. What the hell are you doing?
You're sitting for a long time, like glutes aren't fired. They're not like working because you're sitting. Yeah. And then you get up and you go to the gym and you start being active and you have resistance, stuff like that. Like that's confusing to your muscles. Yeah. Like that's what you can say. I hate even talking about that term or using it because it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like that's the confusing part for your muscle.
Okay.
Is lifting heavy things.
Yeah. Do you have a way of like when let's say a client you're working with wants variety and wants to confuse the muscles, do you have a way of like communicating this that makes them feel like they're kind of right, but then
I frame it as like if your goal is strength and like body composition changes, you want to be doing relatively the same things because at the end of the day, the goal is progressive overload. And so like doing the same movement, but slowly increasing the weight or reps or both. And that's where you're going to see the most improvement, the most gains in strength, the most muscle mass changes. And if you're just kind of like, you're not too focused on the strength aspect, like you just want to move and be active, then you can do like more variety in your workouts because you don't have like a set goal that's body composition or like a strength number or a strength goal. So it's like you don't have to really watch what you're doing and make sure you're progressing through it. Like you can just go through the motions, but that's really if you just, you're happy with where you're at and you just want to be active.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think where if I have a client who's like, oh, I want variety, where I like to put that in, program that in, is more in the accessory movements.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, that's, like, you want to change things up, that's fine. We're still going to do our primary squat, deadlift, bench, rows. But then, we can alternate using cables for lat raises or dumbbells, and we can change what bicep curl we're doing. Like some of the more accessory movements is where I like to add variety. Yeah. But at the core, like you just need to be training those big muscles, progressive overload, which is the same thing. Yeah.
I have a question for both of you guys. So you can answer this like how it applies to yourselves in your own training and even when you work with clients. But let's say you really are trying to get strong either in one specific exercise or a group of exercises. How often do you guys like to train that exercise? How many times per week,
Once or twice a week, kind of depending on what split I'm in. But
yeah. I think that's the $1 million question for my personal self. I think for the general population and clients that I train, like if you have 4 days a week, let's do 2 lower body days. Let's do 2 upper body days. Let's not get super specific. Like how many reps of each muscle group are we doing? I think just like thinking about the number of days that you are able to lift in the gym, split it up, make half of them lower body, make half of them upper body. I think that is a great way for just the general population.
Yeah.
But I love to just be my own experiment. And so I'm like, that's what I always kind of experimenting with is, how many days a week to hit each muscle group. Yeah. And so, I've done the traditional 2 legs and a push and a pull for a very long time, but now trying to decide if more volume, so having just 2 more general upper body days, so I have less volume in the pushing phase or the pulling phase in one day, but I do it 2 days a week.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're on a journey, and honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I don't notice a difference between the two. Mm-hmm. I think I get stronger when I do 2 upper body. When half my lifts are upper body, half my lifts are lower body. I think that's what's important.
Yep. What about you? Any comments on that? Like how many days a week you train, or like I don't know, what's your split? What's your split right now?
I've gone through a journey with all of my different splits. Currently, because I think this kind of goes back to just like my current goals are. I've been doing like the heavy lifting thing, the lower reps, higher weight for a long time now. And I like it was when I started working here and working with like general population people and not just athletes. Because athletes, it is like how fast and explosive you can move a high weight. And so that was just kind of like my mentality for the longest time. But now like scaling back and being in the personal training setting, I like see there isn't really a reward for how much you can lift. Like it doesn't matter if you can do one super heavy squat for one. Yeah, it's cool to say that you did however many big heavy metal circles for how many reps. Like that's sick, dude. But how is that going to help me? How is that going to help me in a few years down the road? Like my knees already suck. They're already, every time I squat down, they're cracking. They're anything. So because I followed like that standard, I'd say like the bodybuilding type workouts where I have like a glutes and hamstrings day, and then I have a chest shoulder. So like it's the legs push pull type of split. So right now what I'm doing is I only have like 30 minutes a day to go and lift. Yep. So I've totally kind of pulled the groups apart. And depending on how I'm feeling that week, how many times I get into the gym, it's usually around the 4 to 5 days a week right now on a good week. And so it is just like a legs, upper type thing. I guess it's really just how I'm feeling that day.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to do a certain exercise. Like I'll swap it with something else. But I've like totally shifted in the mindset of like how slow can I, like this has hurt my ego so badly, but it's immensely dropping the weight and seeing how slow and controlled I can do the reps. And it is far more challenging doing that than just seeing how fast I can get done with an exercise. Like it's crazy.
And like for most people, that's what they need anyways, to be really slow and controlled with what we call like the eccentric portion, you know, the part where you're going back to the point of origin, just for preventing injury, even for building more muscle, and just, everybody needs that. I'm just like jumping from topic to topic now. But what about, we always have to talk about the way we eat and the way we sleep, you know, in terms of getting stronger. I don't know. Who wants to talk about? Tell me everything you eat in a day.
I can't. Wow.
Sun up to sundown.
I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not the best example most times, but
it's okay. Coach Blake isn't either.
I saw the greatest change in body composition when I'm not going to say I totally eliminated things, because we live in America and you're going to always there's always going to be some like bad ingredient or processed food that you ingest, but ultimately limiting those and opting for more whole food recipes and a more whole food diet. That's where I saw like the greatest body composition change. So just seeing the changes and then also feeling the changes. Like I don't feel as sluggish when, you know, I'm not pounding Domino's pizzas and microwavable dinners and all of like the super easy, convenient things. So that, I mean, now I have that happy medium, and my motto has always been memories over macros. So sometimes I'll choose the naughty food, just because YOLO, you only live once. I'm going to enjoy this delicious sweet treat. But yeah, it's just like I have a balance of like eating whole foods with a little fun sprinkled in there. My body is a temple Monday through Thursday. We don't talk about Friday through Sunday.
I got to go reflect on memories over macros a little bit.
It's so good.
Kira?
Yeah, I actually saw the biggest change, if I'm talking about like my body composition, the phases of my life when I have like been in the best shape of my life, I've been eating the most. But I've also been very intentional about what I'm eating. So like I go through phases of I track my macros, I don't track my macros. I don't think that, like I don't want to track my macros for my entire life. But when I did start tracking macros, I was, you know, like in that running mindset. And so I wanted to be small. I wanted to run fast. I wanted to eat little. And as I started getting into strength training and I started understanding more of like fueling my body. And so then I started slowly increasing my macros. And through macro tracking, I realized what amount of energy my body needs. And it's way more than I ever thought.
Okay.
It would. Like it blew my mind how much food I found I need to eat in order to have energy, in order to be able to lift heavy and actually like put muscle on. And so, yeah, I think like I go through these phases, like I said, of tracking macros versus not. But when I'm tracking macros, then I'm trying to hit very specific targets. I'm being very intentional about everything that I eat. And then when I'm not tracking macros, I just try to focus on, like Mady said, like eating. And I'm not even going to say whole foods. I'm going to say foods that feel good for me.
Yeah.
Like I used to eat so many fucking vegetables.
Yeah.
Vegetables are good for you, but I always felt horrible. Like I would eat these massive salads for dinner and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm being so healthy. Yeah. And I wouldn't be able to sleep because my stomach would hurt so bad.
Because you were hungry. It's just you didn't eat enough, you mean? Or like...
No, because raw vegetables for me are just so hard to digest.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when I started swapping some of that raw spinach for like a cooked vegetable and rice, I feel a million times better.
Okay. Yeah.
But, you know, it was hard to get, so that's why I say, like, I don't focus on healthy food. I focus on food that I know I can digest.
Yes.
It makes me feel good. And it's going to be different for everyone. Like I don't want to tell someone to eat broccoli because they might, like for you, that might not be what you need. But if you're eating a cheat or like McDonald's super processed cheeseburger, not one that you made yourself.
Then
I might say, okay,
like that's
maybe swap that out for broccoli. But
like there's some things that are just actually not good for anybody.
Well, not like honestly, that's a little tidbit that I'm just gonna slip in is that like when you're quote trying to eat healthy, like you don't have to do the typical chicken, rice, broccoli type thing. Like ultimately, like what are you eating the broccoli for? Are you eating it because it's quote healthy? Or are you eating it for the micronutrients that are in there? Like I look at vegetables as my micronutrient. Like I need the vitamins and minerals that are in some of these fruits and vegetables. And instead of eating ones that I absolutely despise just because they're healthy, like zucchini, I love it. Broccoli, I'm not like the biggest fan of it. Like I don't gravitate towards broccoli as much as I do like zucchini and peppers and things of that nature. So I like find something that works for you, food that makes you feel good within reason, and like use it. Yeah.
Do you guys think that much variety is required with foods? You know, we talk about variety with exercises, but
I personally can eat the same, and I don't know if this is just ingrained because I've meal prepped for a long time, but like I can eat the same exact meal all week and have no problem with it. And I think honestly, the people that struggle with it, I'm going to be brutally honest, I just don't think that, you know, you're seasoning it enough. Like you're not making it to where you enjoy eating it. Like if you're going to eat a, you know, cooked chicken breast with nothing on it, like of course you're going to hate it. Like that's disgusting. Like I don't know why people don't use seasonings as much, because like it can elevate quote boring healthy foods so much more, and you can get like creative with it and use like a different combination of spices to make the same thing taste different versus the other. But it's also like a lot of people don't want to cook, and tough love, but like you're not gonna get the most out of your meals if you don't cook.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm the same as Mady. I literally eat the same thing all day, every day, and have for just years and years. And so like, I don't understand when people say I can't eat the same thing over and over. That's something that I will never be able to relate to. But I think if you have a hard time eating the same thing over and over, then instead of doing a traditional meal prep, you know, like back when I used to, now I work from home, but when I used to not work from home, I would literally, you know, on Sundays, I would have 5 containers of breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Let's go.
Sundays are the best.
The traditional meal prep. But if you have a hard time eating the same thing every single day, but then you're in the same breath, you're saying, I'm having a hard time eating healthy though, because I don't have time to cook. And what I always say is make a big batch of your protein, like make shredded chicken, and then that doesn't need to change. But then each day you can add variety in what are you putting it with. Like that's where your variety can go. But then you're still not having to cook every single day. So like, do we need variety? I think if you're generally eating a balanced diet, no. But if you feel that like for your own, if you're like, I'm going to not eat healthy if I have to eat the same thing every single day, then just focus on make one protein and then switch up, you know, whatever you're putting it with.
Okay.
That is absolutely like one of the biggest life hacks like anyone could ever do in like with the eating healthy is just prepping the protein. It's like you just have a big thing of protein in your fridge all week, and you can make whatever you want. Like prep a whole bunch of chicken. One day you can do like chicken tacos. The next day you can do like a chicken salad. The next day you can do like a chicken sandwich, like chicken spaghetti, like something like that. Like as long as you have that protein prepped and ready, it's a lot easier and it feels less intimidating to make a meal because it's quicker. Usually the protein takes the longest to cook. So it's
Okay.
Life hack.
Yeah, I like that tip because like a lot of people, what people need is like simplicity, you know, with the meals and stuff. So, okay, what about like, because Mady, you were talking a few minutes ago about how like my body is a temple Monday through Thursday, but like Friday through Sunday, it's not, you know.
We
don't
talk about it.
Because like, no, come on, hold on though. Because like I want to give advice to people on this because it's almost like a question of, I get that people are not going to be, you know, having a perfect diet on the weekends, right? I get that people are going to have fun, whatever. You're going to go out, you're going to drink, you're going to eat some of the junk food at the bar, like whatever, right? Like, how much of a non-temple can we treat our body like Friday through Sunday and still get decent fitness results? You know what I mean? Like, this is the question.
And the answer is very simple. Is like, you're just not going to see the progress you want to see if you do it. And like, I know this. And so like, when I was in college, like I would go balls to the walls and like, I really lived by the Monday through Thursday, I'm good to my body. Friday through Sunday, I'm not. And I didn't see like a whole bunch of progress. And I think it was actually COVID is when I saw the biggest one because I wasn't going out. I couldn't go out to eat. I had to make all of my meals at home. The only thing I could do was work out and go to work because everything else was shut down. And like, that's where I saw like the biggest change in it because I wasn't going out and drinking. I wasn't, you know, eating a whole Domino's pizza after getting home from the bar, like things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends, like they struggle with it where they come to me and they say like, why am I not losing fat? Why am I not losing weight? And I'm like, girlfriend, your Snapchat story every single weekend is you at the bar on Friday.
So real.
And like a Saturday, like it's a bender. And like I can say that you can do both, but it has to be very strategic with it. Like, and you can't, if you want to see progress quick, you can't do it.
How do you be more strategic? Go deeper. Because there's some people that are just never going to give it up. They're never going to give up that lifestyle. You know?
Like,
how do you be more strategic?
The picking your battles with it. So like if you're going to go out versus getting a beer, which is typically higher in calories and carbs, you opt for a seltzer or like something like that. And you just like, you can't drink in excess. Like you can't do it because alcohol is very calorically dense. And oftentimes people don't even think about it, but it's like you could ingest like easily 1,000 calories from beverages alone.
Easy. Yep.
Alone. Yep. And it's like for a lot of people, that's about half of their calories a day. And it's like when you think about that, it's like, do I really want to go have 7 drinks or, you know, just have 2 and be able to sleep because sleep is super, super important for recovery and all of those things.
For sure. Yeah. Sleep. And then you also think, so it's like if you're going on this bender, like you're not only obviously just ingesting all of those calories, but think about how you feel the day after then.
Yep.
So the day after your NEAT, your non-exercise
activity, whatever it is, thermogenesis or something.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be lower because you're going to be sitting on the couch all day because you feel like shit because you drank too much. And so it's like finding that balance of how to still have fun and make the memories. And so if it's important for you to go out with your friends, being strategic about, okay, if you're going to drink on Saturday, then don't drink on Friday. Yep. So then you can feel good on Saturday morning and you can go for a coffee walk with your friends and then, you know, like get some movement in before then you go out and.
Yeah. Well, because it's not only the alcohol you're drinking, because it's like, think like when you go out and are drinking a lot at the bars, what do you usually do when you come home then? You start snacking and you start eating.
It's usually not your meal prepped chicken either.
It's not your chicken, rice, and broccoli that you're indulging in. Every time I came home from a night out, guess what was waiting on my doorstep? A Domino's pizza. That was my vice. Like I got home from out with friends and I would eat an entire Domino's pizza and then I'd wake up the next morning and be like, wow, I feel just like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real. What do you guys think about cheat meals? Like cheat meal day or just a cheat meal anytime?
I mean, like, I don't know. This one's a hard one for me because I don't really.
Yeah, I used to kind of play into the idea of like these cheat meals, but now, and I very much like every aspect of my like views on fitness and well-being have changed to be significantly more focused on like how is this sustainable and for the long term and giving me the life that I want to live. And so I don't buy into these cheat meals anymore. I more buy into the mindset of like choosing moments of eating less healthy at times that are going to bring me joy. When I'm out, with my friends and we're at Red Cow and it's like we're having a great time talking together and like I want this burger.
Yeah.
I don't consider that.
Schedule it.
I don't think that's a cheat meal because when I walk out of Red Cow, like my soul is filled because of the people that I was with and this food that I had. And so like, does it go into my normal diet? No. But do I feel like I cheated on my life? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I should go to like life detention for having a burger.
Yeah.
So right. I hate that like cheat meal. It's just be intentional about when you're going to eat. And I don't feel good when I eat a burger. So just be intentional about moments when you know you're not going to feel good afterwards. But like, if it's adding value to some piece of your life, don't feel bad for it.
Which is probably more important than all the little nitty gritty things we eat anyway. Like social life is important. You know what I mean? It's like more important than the food sometimes.
Right.
So,
and that's what makes it sustainable in the long term. Like if you know that you're never going to go out and have dinner at a nice restaurant with your friends, then you're just never going to start making changes to eat healthy during the week. Because if you're like, this is the only thing I can ever do, well, I'm just never starting that.
Yeah.
So that's the whole mind, like, have balance.
Yeah.
Be intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, is there anything like that we didn't cover that's really important just about, either one of your journeys, like in fitness, how to get strong, how you got yourselves into really good shape, helping other people? I mean, I sent you guys those questions beforehand. I don't know how many of we actually asked or like whatever. It always kind of deviates, but.
Well, I would like personally, I've been intentionally lifting for about 8 years now, 7, 8 years. Time, patience, like consistency. And that's like, there's like so cliche sayings, but consistency is key. And if you don't stay consistent with it, like you're never going to see anything.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's why I've seen so much growth over the years is just because I've stayed consistent. Like, and there have been parts of my life where I've only been able to get into the gym 1 time a week.
Yeah.
2 times in 2 weeks, like things like that. But it's that 1 time that I still went that kept up that consistency with it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like I haven't fallen off completely. Like everyone goes through the different phases of their quote fitness journey. Like no one is on 100% of the time, but it's just like staying consistent with it and not giving up on yourself when 1 week gets, too chaotic, too busy, and you didn't get in the gym at all. And I saw this video that I wish I had ready for it, but it was a girl and she was demonstrating like the idea of like what's happening when you say like, oh, I just cheated on my diet. Now I'm just going to like the rest of the day is going to be a cheat day. And it's like she's pouring like rice into something and she like, quote, had cheated on her thing. So she poured a little bit outside of the cup. And then it was like, well, now I'm just going to continue. Like today is just going to be a whole cheat day. And then she dumps the rest of the rice outside of the cup. And it's like, just because you strayed off a little bit doesn't mean you have to completely derail and jump off the train. Like, sometimes it slows down, but as long as you just keep going forward, it's gonna keep going forward. Like it's gonna keep getting better. You just can't give up so easily, I guess.
Yeah. Did you want to say something about that? Or?
No, I mean, I just completely agree with that. I think it's just that I find it so interesting, that mindset when people are like, oh, well, I, had one bad meal, so now I'm gonna like not eat good for this day or the rest of the week or whatever. And it's like in life, like you don't do that in life with anything else, like, I don't know, that to me, it doesn't make sense. Like if your kid gets a little mark on the table, you don't just say, well, Timmy, color on the rest of the table. Like you made one mark, you might as well color the rest of the table. Like you make a mistake in an email you send, you don't just start talking gibberish for the rest of your life. Like you move forward and you check you use Grammarly next time. I don't know, like it's just so interesting that there is no other piece of our life where we make one mistake and we just say fuck it.
We just throw it all away.
But with our eating, we do.
Here's a question though. Do you think it's because, like, how do I frame the question? Like, do you think it's because most of us like secretly always want the junk food? You know what I mean? Or like we always want to cheat on a diet, or like why?
I mean, from my own like personal feelings with it, like it's just the processed junk food just tastes better sometimes, and it's just like I don't know, like I don't think it's like I don't know. That's like for me personally, like it's just like sometimes like the sweet treat in excess is way better than eating my healthy meal that I already have prepped type of thing.
Well, I mean, that's legit. I mean, obviously, the processed foods taste better. They're hyper palatable is the fancy word for it. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out why that happens psychologically, like with foods. But like you said, nobody's going to just keep making another mistake in another area of life intentionally or whatever, Well,
I think, and this is getting like way off topic in a deeper, more psychological realm, but I just think like, especially here in America, we have a issue with like food, and I feel like there's a lot more, because I know from experience that like I dealt with emotional eating for the longest time, where like food was like the crutch, and it's when something was going wrong, like just sitting there and eating a snack that I really enjoyed was like my thing, and that's what I did. And so I think like it's just kind of like just the culture that we have here that kind of drives a lot of that with the food. And then just the like, I'm sorry to say it, but just people just don't care that much that they really, they don't think that stuff is really making that much of an impact on them. So it's just kind of like,
how did you break out of it when you were in that cycle?
I would say that I don't know if I'd say I'm 100% broken out of it, because sometimes it still is like a crutch, but it's just like I know what that kind of food, I know how that makes me feel. Yeah. And I know what like eating the foods that make me feel good, like those ones are better for me. And so it's just like opting for the more healthy food, I guess. But I don't know if I have advice on how to break out of it, because I think I still do it sometimes.
But better though.
Right. I'm self-aware about it. Like I know that it's happening, and so I don't like let myself get to that point then, I guess. I don't know.
It sounds like maybe like you're more conscious of the long game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like. So, like, and so maybe that's a piece of advice for someone would be, in the here and now, how it's going to make you feel, but how is it going to make you feel, tomorrow?
Right.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you've just been able to get more conscious about that.
Yeah.
And more strategic with my grocery shopping.
Okay. Yeah. Talk more about that, please.
Well, it's just like I know the things that if I open a certain bag of chips, the entire thing's going to be gone.
Yep.
I just don't purchase them anymore. Like it's just plain and simple like that. Like you just don't buy it. And I found that, or it started happening when actually I started doing grocery pickup. That was that was a game changer for anyone that has issues with going grocery shopping, because they get distracted by all the
don't go in that damn store.
Colorful things on the shelves.
Do not go in the middle aisles ever.
But it's
anybody.
Just
and make sure you're shopping at Target.
Yeah. Okay. Kira's trying to get a little raise here. No, but like just
great grocery section.
Creating a grocery list. What am I having for breakfast? What am I having for lunch? What am I having for dinner? And then what are my snacks going to be for the week? And it was like I had 2 snacks that I would choose from, like just whatever. And I would order all of the groceries online, and then when I went to go pick them up, there were no accidental, chips or cookies or candy that got slipped into my cart because I structured it out and did it all right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also another rabbit hole. But once I got into like the whole nutrition label reading, anytime I pick up a snack, I turn it over, look at it. And if it has any of those inflammatory oils, it goes right back on the shelf.
Okay.
So that was my own, like, I guess, hack there. It's like, I just won't pick it up if it has sunflower, canola, vegetable, all of the different naughty oils.
Yep.
If it's avocado oil or coconut oil, I consider it fair game, and it can go in my cart.
Yep.
But
what else do you look for on the nutrition label usually?
Honestly, like that's the biggest one. And then obviously like the normal ones, the sugar content, the saturated fat content. I don't really look at calories too much, to be very honest. Because typically the foods that don't have those inflammatory oils or a whole bunch of sugar, like they're not going to be that calorically dense because there's healthier ingredients in there. So that's honestly, the only things I really look at is like the actual ingredients themselves and maybe the sugar and protein.
Maybe sugar, saturated fat, protein, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
The little things.
Yeah. What about you? You look at...
Similar. I mean, like, I know the things that don't make me feel good. And so making sure, and it is a lot of the processed oils, like I feel more inflammation in my body when I'm eating those. And I, like, I've talked about how sometimes I track macros, sometimes I don't. And so when I am tracking macros, I'm more conscious of, like what are the proteins, fats, and the carbs, but then still making sure that, it's ingredients that are going to make me feel good.
Yeah. Because that's like a big one. I mean, you talked about before how like just going the more whole foods route was, I don't remember what you said, but it was like a game changer just in terms of the way you felt and looked, right? So like if you just look at the ingredients list and it's like, can I pronounce the names of all the ingredients? Then good.
That's name of the game is as short of an ingredients list as possible.
Yeah.
And once somebody had mentioned why are you eating something you can't pronounce? It's kind of scary. But again, like we live in America.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like we're going to ingest ingredients we can't pronounce just because that's how our food system has been developed over the years. But it's just like being more mindful, like when you are in the grocery store of that, like if you have two snacks in your hand and one of them has a longer ingredients list than the other, like just opting for the one that's a little bit shorter, like things like that. So we're just never going to escape a lot of the unhealthy things in food.
Yeah.
For sure. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. I think that's what's so important. If you're feeling overwhelmed by perfection, stop shooting for perfection. Just find a swap that feels better. Like make it so that, and because again, like it's the long game. What's sustainable? Well,
and that's what piggybacking off of that. Like when I switched or like had that mind shift switch with the food, like it wasn't overnight. I went through my entire cupboard, cleared everything out, and like only purchased certain things. Like it was a slow process because in order for things to be sustainable and for them to really click and carry with you, like it has to be a lifestyle change. And I'm sorry, but if you try to do that too quickly, odds are you're going to fall back and you're going to continue with what you were doing. And so it's just like the slow changes that you make over time, like help with the big picture of it. So it's like, I didn't start off looking at the ingredients labels to see if there was sunflower oil in it. Like I started looking at the labels to see what was highest in protein because I knew that protein was the ultimate goal. So I did that for the longest time. And then it was like, okay, now how can I incorporate more whole foods into my diet? Okay, like adding more vegetables to something, making chicken instead of whatever. And then I got to now how can I clean this up or tweak it a little bit more? Okay, not using these ingredients and things. So like it was a very...
So there's like levels to it.
Over years, I've done this and now it's just like second nature because it's a lifestyle switch. It's not a temporary solution. That's what I think. Like sometimes people get pulled into those traps with like seeing things online of a super fit person that's eating this way, and they try to change that overnight. Like you're kind of trying, like you're setting yourself up for failure essentially, because it's like you're not used to that. That's not you. That's not how you eat. That's not whatever.
Yeah.
And so like just slowly making those changes over time, it latches on better and there's more adherence with it. So that like slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
With consistency.
What do you guys think so let's say someone is like just doing like everything wrong, quote unquote, like they don't exercise, they don't do anything, they eat like shit, they don't really sleep very much. Like, what do you guys think is the most important first step to take or first habit to develop?
Find your why.
Ooh, going back to the Phil psychology here.
Oh no.
Phil, everybody else is with you on this stuff. I'm way against you. Okay. This is not about finding some, no, I'm just kidding. Finding the why is very important. Elaborate, please.
No, but I mean, honestly, like I sort of said that because we were joking about it earlier, but actually, like for someone who, like is not exercising, is not feeling, is not eating well, is, just like taking an honest evaluation of how that's making you show up in your life in all aspects of your life. And, like how can getting some intentional movement in, how can that give you more energy? So then you can run around if you have kids with your kids and, hold your grandkids if you ever have grandkids. And just like, I know for me personally, when I sit at my desk working all day, I am grumpy as hell by the end of the day. If I have, I set time aside to walk over lunch, but if I have to skip that because I'm busy at work, I'm not showing up well for my people when I close my laptop. Yeah. And so like, that's my why, to make sure that I'm finding, I'm getting movement in. And so like, I truly think that if you're starting at ground zero, think about the ways in which your life outside of just the physical, like what you look like, think about the ways in which your life will be better because you're prioritizing yourself.
It's dope. Yeah. I mean, we could just like mic drop it at that, but like that was pretty good. Did we not cover anything important?
There was one thing.
No.
Women, if you start to lift, you won't get bulky.
Oh, I love this one. Wait.
Please keep going. Yes. Do more.
Yes. If you, I will leave my Instagram in the little comments thing. Yeah. If you lift weights for about 4 months and get too bulky, call me. Let me know what you did.
Give me your secret.
I've been trying for 8 years. I have been actively, but this is like, it's so true for women though, because I coach women athletes, and like they didn't want to come in to lift because they didn't want to get bulky. They didn't want to look like a man. And I'm like, again, I have been actively trying to get as bulky as I can. And I don't have massive arms. I don't have massive biceps. Right? I don't have massive delts. Like, I lift weights.
Yeah.
I lift weights, and it takes years of strategic lifting, strategic eating. I'm not even going to say those words because I don't even want to open up that rabbit hole. But it's a very strategic process on how you get that bulky. Because I feel like there's like the Fitsbulbs out there that are like the bikini bodybuilders, and like they're strategically going through cycles of things to get to where they are at. And it's like it like breaks my heart when women, or like I see women in the gym and they don't want to up their weight. Like I see it with clients like almost every single day. They don't want to go heavier with weight because they think going heavier with that weight, they're going to get bulky. It's like, no, I promise you. And again, if you do, call me. I will pay you. Like
Phil will pay you $1 million. Go ahead, Kira. Sorry.
I think it's just important to understand, like, women, you see men and they are putting on all of this muscle, and women are like, well, I don't want to look like a man. We have different hormones. Also, like, in order to gain muscle, you have to be be taking in more calories than you're burning. And so like, if you're not going into a bulk, you're not going to be able to put on like, even if you wanted to put on muscle, it would be hard to put on muscle. Like there's so many things that are different about our bodies versus men's bodies. And so just because you see men bulking up quickly,
not that quickly, either.
Yeah. Also not that quickly, but like you're not going to get bulky lifting weights.
No.
And the more muscle you put on, all the women who want to look toned, what toned is having muscles and then having a low enough body fat to see those muscles. And the more muscle mass you have, the higher your BMR is, just your basal metabolic rate, what you burn at rest, just sitting here doing nothing, like a lot of us do all day. That's going to go up. And so you're going to be able to, like eat the same amount, but lose weight. So there's endless benefits to putting muscle on. And the only con is that you're going to potentially always look a lot better and not bulky.
No, what I was going to say, thank you for saying that about the BMR thing, because that, if anything, you should want to put on muscle. Like, because who
doesn't want to eat more?
More muscle equals more calories. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns just existing. And one of my favorite things that this is like kind of on topic, kind of not on topic, but that I learned from one of my professors in school is that she said, when you go to the gym and if you hop on a treadmill and you run on the treadmill for an hour, you're burning calories while you're running on the treadmill. As soon as you get off, done. Your body stops burning those calories because you're not moving anymore. If you go to the gym and you do strength training and you do resistance training, you are burning calories while you are training, lifting. And as soon as you stop and walk out those doors, you continue to burn for the rest of the day.
Because your muscles have to rebuild themselves.
Having more muscle equals a higher metabolism in most cases. And that means more calories that you can intake.
Clip, share, replay, share. Like I'm gonna like tell it to the camera when Phil edits this. Like, please clip that. I want to make sure he gets the most important things, like on the social media clips. It's like whatever the algorithm says, I don't care. Like every women especially need to hear that message. Like the last 3-4 minutes that you guys just did. You know what I mean? And there's been a couple of those. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that's super important. I don't know. I mean,
anything else we didn't cover?
I don't know. I don't really remember what I put in that.
Is that you? Hold on. Let's look quick.
Yeah, the outline of questions that I sent is way better than having Phil do his chat GTP'd outline of like, how does the metabolism work? Like that's what we
just sounded like a boomer, dude.
The robots are going to take over the world.
Did I say GTP?
Yeah.
Shit, I need more coffee.
Okay.
GTP.
You're not a boomer. Please stop talking.
Okay, I'm done. You guys go.
I think we pretty much did everything. I would say the only thing that maybe...
we didn't talk that much shit about Coach Blake, did we?
No, we didn't talk much shit about Coach Blake.
God, he survives another one.
I think we honestly like kind of hit everything to a capacity.
Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah. I think we did a hell of a job. I don't know. I mean, closing thoughts?
Being strong in the gym helps you be strong in your life. I truly mean that. I believe that that mindset has really helped me. And that's what I say to all the women. Be fucking strong. Be strong. In case Phil wants to cut that. Take fucking out. Be strong.
Can we have a censored version, please?
No cuts. Mady, anything?
I mean, seconding that. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing too much to it. Just get in there, lift some stuff, feel good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like anything else.
Yeah, like a closing, like a 3-word line, like be fucking strong.
Well, I used to have so many of those. But now I'm like kind of lame and not motivational.
Take a minute. I'll say another boomer quote or something like that.
All right.
Chat GPFT or something like that. Just you think for a sec. Me and Kiera can ramble to the camera. Dun, 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 dun. All right.
I would say just for, I guess, anybody, all you have to do is you just got to start, and you just have to keep doing it to some capacity. Like, you're never going to see a change. You're never going to see anything come from it if you're not consistent with it and you don't intentionally make moves towards that goal or towards that lifestyle, things like that. Like, you have to be intentional with it, and you just have to want it, and you got to figure out how it works for you. What I do doesn't work for Kira. What Kira does doesn't work for me. Like, it's
another important point.
It's what works for you.
Yep.
What works for you.
Yep. But cheeseburgers don't work for anybody. The McDonald's meal doesn't work for anybody. We covered that earlier.
A McDouble with no sauce sometimes.
It is Saturday today.
Or what about just a nice grass-fed burger on your homemade sourdough? Like,
yes.
you can have cheeseburgers, but like, if you want to be intentional about it, make them yourself.
Right. And that's
Sorry, bad
Excuse
timing.
me.
Means we definitely got to stop.
Okay. What was I going to say?
Grass-fed burgers.
Well, when I first started off, like, I never cooked. Like, I always like opted for already like pre-made things or things that were super easy. But like, when I started cooking, like, I fell in love with it, and like, just all the different things that you can do. Like, literally the opportunities are endless with it. And like, with your burger, like, I've made those, I don't know if you've seen like the smash wraps. This is totally getting off topic with what we were trying to do, but like, I don't know, like, it's fun to like create different things like in a healthier homemade version.
So satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you feel good.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Phil's going to have to do some restructuring.
Nah, you don't need to restructure anything. Thank you guys. It's been fun. Seriously.
Yeah.
This was good.
It's been super fun.
Wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This was the SOTA Personal Training Podcast, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, Kira. Thanks,
Heck yeah.
Mady.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.